I never thought I'd be caught in this position again. Not after everything that's happened. But here I am, standing at the edge of the vast wilderness, staring down a choice I never wanted to make. The wind howls, and the sky above is a patchwork of gray, the kind of day where everything feels like it's on the edge of something. Something big, something dangerous. They say the wilderness can swallow you whole, and maybe it's true. Maybe that's what I was hoping for when I first came here. But it's not the land that's been haunting me. It's the memories. And today I can feel it. Something is coming, something I can't outrun. Not this time. The sound hits me first. So faint at first that I think I'm imagining it. A cry. Weak, high-pitched but unmistakable. It slices through the dead air like a blade, jolting me out of my thoughts. It's a scream, but not just any scream. A scream of desperation, of someone in pain, someone needing help. I freeze. My instincts scream at me to turn away, to keep going, to ignore the cry and continue on the path I've set for myself. But I can't. I don't know why. It's like I'm being pulled towards it, towards that scream. I push forward through the brush and over the rocky terrain until the sound grows louder. My heart picks up its pace, matching the rhythm of the pounding blood in my ears. What kind of person would I be if I didn't go? What kind of man does nothing when someone else is in need? The closer I get, the more the scream shifts, twisting into a wail of agony. And that's when I see them. A group of native people, fleeing, through the thickening fog of the approaching storm. Their eyes are wide with terror, their bodies covered in the dirt and blood of a battle long lost. The desperation in their faces is raw, like animals cornered. But it's not just any group. It's a woman, clutching a child to her chest, her face streaked with tears and dirt. And then the real danger reveals itself. The bandits. They're closing in, and I see the leader, a man with eyes that burn with the cold fire of a predator. He's tall, scarred, with a dark grin that only deepens when he spots me. I don't hesitate. I pull my revolver from its holster, the cold metal a comfort against my sweaty palms. The crack of gunfire echoes across the clearing, and one of the bandits drops. The others don't flinch. They just keep coming, their footsteps heavy, their grins sharpening. "Move!" I shout to the group of natives. "Now! Go!" I can hear the panic in my own voice, but I don't care. They need to run, and they need to run now. But there's something about the woman. Charlotte, I think her name is. She's not running. She's standing there, her eyes locked on mine, not with fear, but something else. Something I can't place. Her lips tremble, and she's holding that child like she's ready to give her life to protect it. Before I can shout again, a bullet whizzes past me, clipping the edge of my coat. My heart races, my hands shake, but I don't stop. Not now. I fire again, hitting one of the bandits square in the chest, and he crumples to the ground. But it's not enough. There are too many of them, and every second I hesitate, someone else could die. "Come on!" I scream, my voice hoarse. I grab Charlotte's arm, pulling her towards the trees, away from the chaos. She's fighting me. Not in fear, but in anger. "I can't leave them," she says through clenched teeth, eyes burning with resolve. "You don't have a choice," I growl. "You want to live? Then you follow me. Now." Finally, she lets me pull her along, and we dart into the shadows, just as another bullet flies by. The sound of hooves fills the air as the bandits begin to chase us down. Their pursuit is relentless, and I know deep down that this is just the beginning. We stumble through the underbrush, pushing through the thickening fog, hearts pounding in our chests. We can't outrun them. We can't outfight them. But we have to survive. We have to find a way to get out of this alive. We reach the edge of a small creek, and Charlotte stops dead in her tracks, gasping for breath. Her face is pale, her eyes wide with exhaustion. But there's something in her gaze now, something more than fear. There's trust. Trust that somehow I'll get us through this. And I will. I have to. The sky darkens above us, and the first heavy drops of rain begin to fall, followed by the howl of the wind as the storm sets in. The thunder cracks overhead, and I know it's only a matter of time before the bandits catch up with us. I'm not sure if we'll make it, but I won't stop. Not until every last one of them is dead or running for their lives. I turn to Charlotte. Stay close, do exactly what I say. She nods, her hand tightening around mine. The look in her eyes is one of determination, but also something more. Something dangerous. Because I know, even if we get out of this alive, things between us will never be the same. The next few hours are a blur of violence and survival. The storm rages on, but it's no match for the storm in my heart. Every shot fired, every man I take down only sharpens my focus. I can't afford to make a mistake. Not now, not when her life and mine are hanging by a thread. But even as we fight, as we run, I can't shake the feeling that this is just the start of something much darker, something neither of us can escape. I look back at Charlotte, our breaths, mixing in the cold, heavy air. Her eyes meet mine. She's not afraid anymore, she's ready for whatever comes next. And for the first time in a long while, I feel the same. The wind picked up, a sign of change. I stood there just outside the wooden cabin that had now become our refuge. Raindrops fell sporadically, creating a soft rattle against the roof. Sandstorms from the distance began to encroach, and the sky above darkened into a thick gray haze that swallowed everything in sight. A chilling sense of cold began to invade the space around us, and I knew that the storm was coming. Not just the weather, but the trials we would soon face. Charlotte stood beside me, her hair whipping in the wind like thin strands of silk, but I could feel the strength in her gaze. She was no longer the fragile girl I had first encountered. She had learned how to live, how to fight, and I felt a responsibility to protect her from everything out there, whether it be nature or the threats of the past. I knew no one can run forever from the past. That day, as we were checking the supplies inside the cabin in preparation for the storm, a long, piercing horn sounded from the distance. It was a sharp, unnatural sound, one that cut through the air. I blinked, my knees suddenly tense. It couldn't be. That was the unmistakable sound of a group of people approaching. They're coming, I muttered, my voice hoarse, the voice of a man who'd seen too much. Charlotte didn't ask anything further, her eyes already understanding. She wasn't afraid. She only feared being alone. I took her hand and pulled her into the cabin where we could fortify ourselves. But I knew no matter how many sturdy planks of wood we could nail in place, we wouldn't be able to protect ourselves forever. The storm outside seemed like nothing more than an excuse. The men hunting us were still coming, hidden under the cover of sand and rain. They were coming from all directions, but it was clear they were organized and had a definite goal. They weren't here just to test our endurance. They wanted to finish this. I turned to Charlotte, my heart heavy. "Go to the back room, lock the door," I ordered gently. "Don't come out no matter what happens." She didn't reply, only nodded. I knew she understood that I would do what had to be done, even though I didn't want to. Our relationship had already been tested too much, and I didn't want to drag her into this war, though the love between us had grown and solidified more than I ever thought it would. The cabin door slammed open, and the sound of hurried footsteps echoed through the room. I stepped outside, scanning the surroundings. A group of bandits, nothing new. But this time something felt off. These weren't just any common thieves. They moved too professionally, as if they had been planning this attack for a long time. And with a target like Charlotte and me, it was no surprise they wouldn't let us go. I quickly drew my revolver, the cold metal feeling familiar in my palm. Silence hung heavy in the air. Then the sound of a gunshot. A bandit shot at me from behind. I spun around, narrowly avoiding the bullet. "Careful," one of them shouted, as the rest of them rushed toward me. The shootout was immediate and unforgiving. I fired back, taking down the nearest bandit. He collapsed to the ground, blood soaking the earth. But that was just the beginning. The others surged forward like a storm, relentless in their pursuit. A real gunfight had begun. I shot, they shot. The entire space was filled with the whizzing of bullets, a wall of lead surrounding us. But amidst the chaos, I saw Charlotte standing at the cabin window, her eyes following my every move, never leaving the bandits. A moment of desperation. I knew it wasn't just my life at stake anymore. Her life was in danger too. The bond between us was growing stronger, but also more dangerous. I could feel each of her breaths in this space, and the guilt began to rise within me. I couldn't let them take her. In the end, I managed to take them all down, but the cost was high. One final bandit grabbed my leg, pulling me to the ground. In that moment, it felt like I was losing everything. But then a gunshot rang out, and the bandit fell, a bullet through his neck, ending his life immediately. Charlotte stood there, gun in hand. The light from the breaking clouds illuminated her face, revealing the strength I had never seen in her before. She wasn't the weak girl anymore. She was a warrior. "Thank you," I gasped, getting to my feet and pulling her close. Charlotte merely nodded silently, not saying a word. It seemed that deep down she had found peace in these moments. But I knew it wasn't over. The threat from our enemies had never really gone away. After that battle, the marks of the rainstorm still lingered. But the fear inside me wouldn't fade. These bandits weren't just after treasure, they had a deeper, more sinister purpose. And I knew this fight was just beginning. "We won't be safe for long," I whispered. Charlotte looked at me with eyes full of determination. "We'll fight, right?" And I nodded because I couldn't say anything else. That was the truth. We would fight, because not only our lives, but this love couldn't be destroyed by the darkness out there. And so, we began the next phase of our journey, where every step was not just about survival, but about finding a place we could call home.